Hello, YouTube. I know that I'm in litigation with YouTube, so to expect that this is a stream that actually makes an impact would be a stretch, but it might. You never know. Sometimes things take off. Do I trust Google one bit? No. That's partly why I'm running for president, actually. It's actually like I can explain to you a series of circumstances that I think if you weren't aware of prior, you might be disturbed to know about. The and this has to do with the antitrust suit with Google against Google. And that's one of the reasons I'm running. I'm running because I believe in myself and I know myself and I know how to get things done and I know what things should cost and I know what they cost and I know what people will work for and I know about wage to personal satisfaction because I've hired so many people in my life. And so I know that. I'm running because I believe I'm the best person for the job. Considering what's there, there's not. It's just I have respect for Donald Trump. I have respect for Joe Biden. I have respect for Cornel West. I just know myself, and I know contemporary reality and what's happening, and I'm aware of it. And I believe that I can provide you with reasons to understand what it is I'm saying. I'm not gonna just say something and then leave you wonder. You're not gonna be left in the dark on it. You're gonna understand it by the time I'm done explaining it. And I believe that in and of itself is going to be the greatest benefit to this country ever of all time. Well, because we can be greater than we have ever been. We can be greater than we've ever been, or we can just sink back into the past. And I'm sorry, Big D, but I think it's time for Big D to become little D, and Big T to step up and be Big T. Or little T step up and be Big T. That's me talk. Because I'm aware of the issues with the left. I'm aware of the social contagions. I'm aware of the sort of what is it? The leveraging of identity, which is just so deeply it's not even it's almost hard to be angry at it anymore because it's it's so dumb that it's hard to take seriously. It really is. It's so hard to listen to a trans person go into and say why they need this service or care more than me or somebody else because of this, and this, even though I've been through this, and this, and they'd have no idea. They actually don't even think about it, And I hate to say it. Yeah, sure. The decks are stacked in favor of everyone differently. You'll say that is true. I would say that I agree. I'm for reparations. I would give reparations. If for my ancestors, I want payment too. I would. I'm not going to get reparations for the Holocaust, but I don't know that any of my family died in the Holocaust, but obviously created an issue, spiritual, financial issue. We can see that now. What is the solution? What is the solution? Well, I think that in part we need to look at Google. And the reason why I say that is because if Google has been doing what the DOJ is saying that they're doing, that means they've basically been manipulating reality. Now, I know that's a kind of a bold claim It's a bold claim to say that someone's manipulating reality. How can you manipulate reality? That's almost impossible, right? But you have to understand what impact Google is having on our lives. Now, Google represents basically, so there's something called search access point. You can consider a search access point the following 6 things. It's Google Chrome, Google Search, Google GPS, Google Voice, meaning like Alexa, Google, let's see, I said search. There's also a Google browser. There's a separate Google browser, and then there's one more. This is all in the antitrust lawsuit. So one more. What is it? There's one more. I don't remember it offhand. I just read this lawsuit this morning, but just say that there's 6 of these. So why are they called search access points? Because they're points at which you're going to open them up, or they are in and of themselves things that you're going to type a search term into. You're going to ask Google, how do I get to this place, right? Or you're going to put on Google Maps the address and ask for directions, right? But you could type it in too. Or you can Google Chrome in and of itself, being a browser, would deem it a search access point. Alexa would deem her, because you're asking Alexa for information she's providing, that's a search access point. GPS, right? I think it's that. I have notes in the other room, and I plan to make it very clear. But what they've done is that through about a decade or more of really shady business practices, I mean, it's hard to understate it. They literally had a meeting where they said, we're basically going to work like we're one company. And Apple's 20% of their, Tim Cook, you might be in trouble, buddy, because 20% of Apple's revenue is a kickback from Google for not creating a search engine. Now, if I were on Apple's litigation team, I would say it's the same thing as the corn that we buy, that we pay farmers not to farm. But then I would also say, no, that's actually not true. That's just very crazy, and it's almost psychotic. So what happened is that over time, is they created these things called anti-forking deals. So funny name. They built these anti-forking deals into all app development. Like if you want to make a game and get it on the Google Play Store, you have to subscribe to those 6 access points on some level. And also you're also subscribing to Google's indexing and Google's terms and Google's and then you realize, well, what I believe is that likely that there's like game developers who basically have higher payments or to Google or something, and they get better treatment, and it's impossible to disprove that. I'm telling you, it's impossible to disprove that. They have engaged, so they anti-forked, which meant what? Android, it comes 6 of those search access points, they call them SAS, search access points, SAPs, are built into all Android, I believe also all Apple devices. I'm 99% certain, because obviously Apple's only getting a kickback for not doing a search engine. Quite obviously. Yeah, so let's see. Do I have Google in here? Like search. No, I actually reset mine to go DuckDuckGo just the other day, but it was Google. There is YouTube. YouTube! That's the 6th search access point. YouTube. It has to come pre-installed with YouTube. That's the deal that they made. So these are anti-forking deals, meaning you can't use other defaults. What are defaults? It means that these search access points are your preset default on your phone. And unless you go in and change it manually, which they know 70% of the population never does, if not more. They say almost no one ever does. which, let's be honest, that makes sense. Then if you don't abide that, you can't have your app in our store, or you can't have an app on our OS, our operating system. And they created this, and it's been happening for since like 2012. Woo! It's so they basically have controlled. There is no meaningful competitor to Google. There's no meaningful competitor. Because of these anti-forking things, you can't. And the reason is because Apple, in fact, I mean, they're reinforcing it for one. It's a lot to take in, and it is extremely painful to understand because they've been really manipulating the entire interface of the internet for so long, and so illegally, and so cruelly, and egregiously that it's almost. That's why I'm running for president too. It's for things like that. That it's like not another day of this shit. Right? Not another day. And then they're telling us, oh, be mad about Black Lives Matter. Well, this is more important than that, I'm telling you. Because they're stifling innovation. Do you understand what the implication to stifling innovation is? It means there could have been something that, and here's where this also is in the antitrust lawsuit. There's something called the defensive value. So they determine companies, maybe people, have defensive values, meaning that they're a threat, and they have a point system. The bigger the threat you are, the more anti-competitive behavior they engage against you, is basically what I got from it. Which makes a lot of sense, actually, because I developed an app that would compete with reCAPTCHA, which I didn't see as a search access point. But I did that, and then I got, unwittingly harassed on YouTube, one of the search access points. Do you understand what a search access point means? It means this is where we get information from. This is where we get information. This is where we get the news from. This is where we get reality from. For so many of us, almost all of us. And look, Big D, Donald, you don't understand that. You don't even pretend to. You can't be president right now. Sorry. Next. If you can't understand that, you can't be president. You just can't. You have to realize that. If Donald Trump can't stand up to scrutiny about the inner workings of Apple's antitrust and Google's it is Apple's antitrust in my opinion too, but it's Google's antitrust suit, then he can't be the president because he doesn't know what's going on. And it would just be an unsafe precedent to set. And I know what's going on. And I'm suing Google myself for a harassment campaign. And I just asked their lawyer today, do I have a defensive value? Did my business have a defensive value? And, oh God, it probably did, didn't it? Probably fucking did. And that's real. This is real. And anybody that dares to come to me and say that I'm misrepresenting or mischaracterizing anything, I have you challenge me on any fact, and I will most certainly avail you the facts and demonstrate why what I'm saying is 1000% accurate and why it's true, whether you like it or not. I bet you don't. Still true. It's still true. And look, we're on YouTube, a search access point. So what's that mean? It means that I can't control probably a lot of things about this particular stream, but I can hope. And that's all I got. If there's a defensive value on Todd Michael Schultz, then Google is going to owe me like 10 times the amount of money because you can't suppress someone with anti-competitive competition laws for who's running for office. You can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that. That's against the law, a major federal crime. I will sue you for that tomorrow because I don't know if I can finish today. But if that's the fucking case, I'll sue you tomorrow because you have. First of all, I've been thinking about running for president for years. There's proof and evidence, so don't worry about that. But I'm running for office. I sent my letter off intent to the Secretary of State. I'm just like, I'm sickened. I'm so sickened by, honestly, these debates. Honestly, shut the fuck up, everybody. Excuse my French. Et j'ai pas le français aussi. Et j'ai pu te dire que j'ai pu parler le français plus ou moins bien. C'est vrai. Et j'ai pas besoin d'être quelque chose que je suis pas. Pour ça, je pense que on peut pas le trouver. On peut pas le trouver maintenant. I can't find it right now. I hope people see this. I hope people react. I hope you'll support me. There is no contact. You can contact me on X. I guess it's Todd at Todd Michael Me. Is that what it is? No, it's Mob. Yeah, Mabarishi Todd. How about we'll change that to Todd for Prez? Makes me so sad. It just, a lot of things make me sad. It's like I think we've really, really, really led ourselves astray. Allowed ourselves to be led astray, and that's why I'm running, because I can see it, and I would love to be challenged on those truths. And I, look, it's really upsetting to realize that this is one of those SAPs. Who am I even talking to here? You can catch me on, what is my Mabarishi Todd. It's going to be hard for people to get that. I'll put it in the chat. Mabarishi, it means the legendary in Japanese, and then Todd, which is my first name. That's my X or Twitter. X FK or FKA Twitter handle. Consider supporting me. If you live in California, get in touch with me if you can, and let's get to work.